Peace and blessings to all the YouTubers out there. Y'all know this is Larry C. Davenport coming to y'all live once again. You know, as always, this is God is King Movement, mmvmt@gmail.com. Please leave a email there. Tell me you would like to be a part of this movement that's going on. This is about gathering all the belief of one creator as one, instead of having all these divisions and sects and things like that due to the egotistic, actually due to Satan causing division and conquering us, basically. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about today. I wasn't going to do this because last time my video actually got messed up. But this is going to be about Aaron Hernandez, but not so much of Aaron Hernandez, Joseph, who passed away, may he rest in peace, or, you know, because of, you know, the severity and things like that of what's going on. What a lot of people do not understand of what's happening around the world is that these scientists who do not believe in the Most High, or who actually believe that this Most High is mystical, it's not real, or believe that they can actually whip his ass, basically. You know, and I'm going to say it like that. What's going on is a lot of ritual sacrifices getting ready for the Antichrist to physically appear nationally and worldwide, just like people who believe that the Messiah appeared as a human national-wide per se. So this is the opening of the gates of the demonic world. Opening of the gates of those who decide to be a part of the 1/3 of fallen angels and the jinns and things like that. They descended down here on earth with all of us. So this is pretty interesting because we find from our scriptures that there's always been this constant battle between us and the so-called forces of evil. And what a lot of people do not realize is how this force of evil works. So I'm going to turn to a guy who is called Angels and Demons Revealed. It's a YouTube. It's by Private Universe. So I'm giving props out to that. But what I want y'all to listen to before I get into the Aaron Hernandez topic is, what are they searching for? So I'm going to turn the camera and hopefully we get a good, you know, I'll try to, a good view of this. And it's going to be a little lopsided. Let's see if I can turn it this way so we can basically. But what I want y'all to do is listen to what is being said, basically. Okay, I got it at the top. All right, here we go. basically was what I wanted to get at. That whole thing was 1776. Now, what many of us don't understand about this Illuminati, in 1776, we know that something was born. Something was given birth. Do anybody know what it is? It's America. America in 1776 was given birth. So, with that saying, being that was the all-seeing eye, the Illuminati's eye, then the question is, why do we have it on our money? Did the Vatican of not killing them per se have allowed the Illuminati to grow in America as a home base without the dictatorship of these kings and queens and basically popes? You know, the Illuminati became a very powerful force. This is where I'm going with Aaron Hernandez. Okay. Aaron Hernandez, they claim, on April the 19th of this year, 2017, committed suicide in a super maximum prison. I don't know if many are familiar with super maximum prisons. I'm sure you don't want to be familiar with them. I'd rather be familiar with the grave than be familiar with the prison. But we are actually in a prison right now. It's a big prison with no bars. It's one of those prisons you can just walk around and do whatever you want to do and stuff like that. Because you're superseded by a ward, someone who watches over you, tell you when to eat, when to shower, in some cases when to have sex, you know, all types of things, where you can go, what jobs you can work in the system, all types of other things, even give you roles. Sometimes you might be in charge of a few inmates, depending. But in the super maximum prison, the inmates don't have that much contact with each other. So on June the 26th, they said that was of last year, they said that Mr. Aaron Hernandez had a fight, an altercation with another prisoner at a supermax security prison. So you've got to figure that out. Out of 24 hours in a day, by clock standards, 12 and 12, you know, you can break that up. 1 hour of free time somehow or another seemed to be a security malfunction, should I say. And these two inmates actually met and had a little scuffle, you know, within the prison. I mean, I know, we all know there's maximum security and then there's super maximum security. Okay? And we know that their rules bent, because we heard of people who were in the prison system and they said, yeah, you know, certain things just happen, you know. And this is some of the strange things when you look at this child who became a grown man, probably grew up faster and had a lot of resentment because of his father's death, who had to keep him under a certain leash, you know. You know, he was used just like Lance Armstrong was used, and the powers to be. At the end of the day, definitely people die, for sure. That's all about the game in Illuminati. You know, blood sacrifices, all types of stuff. You know, a lot of type of stuff. You know, and this is what gives these people power: blood sacrifices and killing people, killing innocent people. And this goes with the same thing, and I'm gonna hit this up too. I got to throw it out there. But I always, even when I study under the Christian documents and dogmas, I always had this understanding that God would not allow for a person who we aka call Jesus Christ, the Messiah, to die for our sins, and then worse, and top it all, what we call the commune, and then how you could call it, like role play, that we eating his flesh and drinking his blood on these days. Now you tell me that ain't damn satanic. That's satanic as ever. And people go, oh no, it's not, you know, this and that. Yes, it's satanic, and I'll tell you something. Even in the Bible itself, they can't change everything, just get caught up like that, because that's how the devil is once in a while. He just likes to brag and boast. I'm going to put it right in front of your face. You know, he have the religious leaders around the world under his reign. You know why is that? Because if everybody, by the definition of a word, understands that there's a supreme creator, right? How are you going to kill one another? How are you going to do that? But Mr. Aaron Hernandez and his how they have a played, you know, let me tell you something, media can make Jesus, if he came back again, Jesus look like a criminal. I'm going to just tell y'all like that. You know how many people that are in the prison system that is innocent, that's still there to this very day? We're talking about political prisoners. All they wanted to do was speak out against injustice, and they became prisoners. In fact, it's so bad that there are private companies now that are giving people money. I think it's like $250,000 reward for doing something heroic, which would cause you probably to go in prison. So, I mean, even if you win, what do that mean? You know? You in jail, and in jail anything can happen. You know, you might win it, right? And somebody in jail be like, yo, listen, I'll protect you. No one won't let that happen again, bro. You know, they know me up in here, you know? And you have to give this person money to protect you, right? Meanwhile, he might be asking you for favors, like, let me get that tight end button. Stuff like that. That's another thing about the Illuminati that we're going to be talking about. And the board is up now. And this is it right here. Let's drop this down so everybody can see this. Okay, there we go. Alright, perfect. Alright. We bring this closely. Okay. Now, I did a lot of things here. And I want people to realize this. Okay, great. All right. We have. To this. Okay, freaking, I just do it the old fashioned way. This will be good. This will be good. Okay. Here we have Aaron Hernandez, right? This is a breakdown. This is what they found in the cell. One, the incomplete pyramid, which is the all-seeing eye. Okay. The second one was right here, which is Illuminati, and the third one was right here, which is John 3:16. Now, let us, and if you notice, I have horror, which you probably get Aaron from, and Aaron is not really a Hebrew name. That's another thing. So that's interesting that Aaron is not really a Hebrew name. Okay? They didn't have this name. They had Haran, but not Aaron. Okay? Some people say this comes out of Kemet, aka what we call Egypt. Okay, but definitely also in the Hindu Valley, they also have Aaron. Like, you have Aryan nation. Okay, so what makes Mr. Aaron Hernandez death a mystery, so to speak? Right? What makes him killing Lord? May they all rest in the peace, these people who died. Okay. This guy, perhaps you can say his soul was taken, possessed, or used. Because people say he did weird things. It's not. They always want to contribute things to smoking marijuana and etc. That's what they want to do it for. Always smoking marijuana, taking LSD or stuff like that. So, of course, they did a toxic report on to see if he had any drugs. But he died a very interesting day. He died on April the 19th, which is the beginning of the whole 13 days of dark secret of the worshiping of Baal Nemra Mohuch, okay, which Molech is the hour, or what we see in the Bohemian Grove, okay. So from April the 19th, right, to May the 1st, okay, we're going to bring it down here, to May the 1st, there, let's do that right here. Alright, from April the 19th to May the 1st, 13 days of dark secrets of satanic worshiping, of satanic sacrifice. Now, in the Molech right here, they call it the Festival of Molech, right? It starts on April the 19th. And on this day, right, and it's a fire god, right? Okay, so the sacrifice have to be with something of fire, of a child of innocence. It has to be a start of sacrifice. So this Aaron Hernandez was actually a big sacrifice. Now also on the same day, in that the temple of Baal is open on the 19th. Well, it's a replica of Baal. When you go down to City Hall in New York, it's an arch. We all know something is missing there. Okay, it's an archway, and in here, well, there's a few things. In here is the fountain of what? And springs water life. Behind that is a 9-story building. I already know about this whole area. Behind this, if you're going that way, right, is the Twin Towers. And this is the Temple of Baal. Now, that alone is pretty scary when you think about it. So, on the 19th, little that we know, Aaron, which I did something interesting. If you can look closer. Alright, so we have Aaron up here for sure, right? You see that? We got a ram is sacrificed, alright, because that's who Aaron was, the high priest who sacrificed the lamb. And Nimrod was sacrificed, okay? So, the ancient way of reading things is right to left. So Rama, R-A-A-M. So if you go A-R, put that down, that R with the O, put the O with the N, you have Aaron. So Aaron was the sacrifice for the Illuminati. Why is that? Because they illuminated him through the media. You know, his whole thing that he had sex, relationship with quote unquote gangs and violence. You know, Aaron, chest or ark, the Ark of Covenant, and Hindu Aaron means light bringer. Okay? Also, it means enlighten, and in the Urban Dictionary it means pimp and massive dick. Okay? D for dead. Okay? he also about this 109 days wind up whacking himself, which equals 10, which talks about life again. It also appeared in John 3:16, right? It also equals 10. We're talking about the tree of life again with the 10 Sephirah. He was a fire sacrifice. If people don't know, Aaron is Aries, and Aries is the fire element in the astrology for Aries, which is a ram. Okay, and this is from the Vedic astrology. Rashid, Aaron is Mesh, and the moon equals Aries, which is a ram. Right? Now, also in that time, we look at time frames. What's so important about time frames? They claim that he died at 3:05 a.m., but also get claims of 4:07 pronounced to be dead. So 3:05 a.m., that's, when you add the numbers up, that's 8, that's infinite, that's eternal. So, and in this time, if you study the Asian Chinese secret, you would know that at this time, the lungs activate, which is the breath, which is the spirit. So his spirit was taken, he was sacrificed. He was sacrificed because of his whole meaning of life. They watch you like that when they want to do certain sacrifices. They watch you like that, you know. So definitely on the week, in the higher 13 days of this beautiful sacrifice, this guy wound up there, the high profile, enlightened. They enlightened him through media. They made him bigger than what he was, you know. They made him a star, you know. They made him a light bringer, okay, because he was bringing light forth, meaning what he did, you know, and the stuff that, you know, he did. But definitely the Illuminatis have a lot to do with this sacrifice, but you know, that's all here and there, and conspiracy and all of that. So, you know, who cares? Who really cares? The man was guilty. He killed people, and that's the way it goes, like Janet Jackson said, you know. But the thing about Nimrod, that y'all like how I did that ram with the Nimrod. The thing about Nimrod down here is that Nimrod was also sacrificed. Nimrod was killed and appeared to look as a ram. So was Aaron Hernandez. Think about it. He had the Illuminati. The first thing he did was the incomplete pyramid. As you just heard earlier about the incomplete pyramid, who is the Illuminati. Reading John 3:6 goes into the spears, goes into the Kabbalah, which also the Illuminati study, because they need to know how to break down the bodies and what spears or what sections or chakras are affected by certain emotions and things like that. So they're very good in doing what they're doing with their wizardry and things like that. Very, very good in calculate and understand the math of humans. They can only learn this from the one who they give praises to, which is Lucifer. You know, the architect, the light bearer. You know, some people call it Saturn. But here's another thing. When he killed Odin, right? They said the last call was like 3:23. You know, 3:23. You know, that adds up, of course, to 8 again, another death. And with his time, 305, 8 again, another death. Which y'all see, that's 88. Y'all know about this number from Adolf Hitler and the Aryan nations and things like that. And you know that they were into some heavy satanic worshiping. Okay, even though you take this number 88, you can apply it to 44, because it'd be 44 twice. You could go into 16, you know, you could go into 7, you could go into 8 again, like I said. And, you know, it's a number that you could take it to 16, and boom, it equals 7, which is the 7 chakras, right? But another thing is that we talk about this. This right here is pretty interesting, that they build this resemblance. And it's supposed to be resemblance came out of Syria, okay, where they having a war at now. But also in Syria, there's a mount, like up there, called Hara, okay, which means mount. And I'm gonna get into that too about Aaron, what rumors states. What rumors states. Okay, now there's a mountain. Underneath this mount, they found the temple, ancient temple of, I believe it's Moors. I believe, but I think it's somebody else that's also into this dark secrets. Okay, not only on the 19th that Aaron died, also we had a near collision with an astro comet on the 19th as well. So it was a lot of things going on the 19th. And when you add the 19th up, it equals 1 plus 9 equals 10. Right? You see that? Okay, so Aaron, or Nimrod, okay? Nimrod, okay, was sacrificed. So was Aaron. Now, let's get into another thing about Aaron. Aaron also means, also come out of the word mountain. Now, in this right here, in this part that they talk about, they talk about him and his so-called sex life. They try to say that the guy who is talking the most in prison, like they had some type of affair. Now, you know, this being a supermax prison, or was it a supermax prison? Maybe it's a supermax prison, it's a maximum prison and a supermax prison inside as well. But in this so-called thing, these had buddies. You know, they were like buddies, you know. Sometimes in the military, they have this thing called buddy system. Perhaps it could be that. Hopefully it is that. But they try to make Aaron bisexual. Like he went both ways. That's another thing that goes into this Illuminati thing. You see that it's 1776. You see that Aaron is for Aries, which is ram, which he was the sacrifice ram for the new beginning of 2017. And this is a very big 13-day festival for Lucifer. So May the 1st was the last one, what we call May Day, all of that. You know, there's a lot of fight, a lot of deaths in between this 13 days. You do your history, a lot of killing. A lot of killing. If you look at something called the satanic calendar, you will see they have days. And all you have to do is start to say, wow, when there's a missing child or something like that, you look at the calendar and it tells you who needs to be sacrificed, you know. Is it a child, is it a girl, is it innocent, is it this, is it that? It's real there, you know, it's real. So if you're into a satanic order, oh, you got to kill somebody, for sure. And the fact that is not publicly known is because we live in what? Where we live, y'all? We live in the land of the Illuminati. So why should it be published? All these missing kids and things like that. I mean, sometimes, you know, they might have sex with them, or they might commit violence, but they didn't kill them. Or they didn't kill them here too, because I guess sometimes they kill them here, there. They do that, you know, and allow them to escape once in a while. It's the fun of that, you know, because that person be traumatized for the rest of their life, and that's a vessel, a shell, a vessel you can use. So this is the whole Aaron breakdown. Basically, what I did, you know, I did it with this sex game and violence thing. You know, that's what they're gonna do. They say he was in the blood, claim it, because of his tattoo. Now, when he first went to prison, this is what you call the Mandela effect. He had no tattoos on his neck. So where did he get those tattoos? He got them while he was in prison. But who did them? If this prison is a super maximum prison. So that means that they do have contact with each other, depending. So he could have been in another cell where they have contact with each other. So perhaps these guys met there, you know, and because it only makes sense because, you know, he couldn't fight somebody if it was the way it's supposed to be, unless that was, like I say, malfunction, and sometimes malfunctions do occur, you know, they do happen. But as his lawyer said, there's something strange. Yeah, it's something strange because you don't have to do sacrifices and kill somebody and be there. You know, you can do like that movie. What is it called? The movie with the dude Zero, where the guy didn't do what is called out of body experience. He did the other thing where it's like he's sleepwalking. I forgot what they actually call this particular. It's not out of body experience. It's totally different. You can actually do this on the phlegm if you're good. You can astral walk and actually kill people if you're really good. Because we live in the world of air and words and things like that, and we can travel through that mysticism of air and things like that. That's like when you hear someone and they talk about who stole my idea, or you hear about the night catchers and things like that, and certain things like that. And another thing about this is, Grandma, who's to say that Aaron didn't want people to know, because he gets these tattoos in prison, that this guy, they said they put him on watch because he might kill himself. No truth. You know, there's a lot of things that's going on that you can see that you can make claims that the board man was a sacrifice for the Illuminati. He was definitely a mountain back. Perhaps that'll come out. Some people say it did come out that he was bisexual. You know, but sometimes news can be distorted, right? And stuff like that. Sometimes it can be very distorted. And another thing that I was going to talk about real quick is, I wanted to see if people left a comment. Okay, in the Quran, there are 114 surahs, right? Okay, there's 114 surahs. Okay. Now, also I found out that the body has 114 chakras. Right? We know about here, we know about 7, and we hear it about something called 12. The 12 chakras, right? Now, where would that come from? You know? Where would that come from? The 114 chakras no one's talk about. Even if you do it the other way, you go 8, 2, 2, which is 22 and 8. There goes a master number there. You know what that always means, an infinite 8 right there. So even when you add that up, that's still 12. You know, still 12. Amazing. Which comes up to another thing, is 24, right? Which, again, if you add that up, is 6. So where is this 6, 6, 6 all coming from? You know? Where is it all coming from? You know? Some people say this is carbon. Anything carbon-based has these protons, neutrons, and electrons. That's what it's talking about, right? So, if you do the grid, we have 9 social security numbers. But what's our birth certificate number? How many numbers in there? And we know that our birth certificate, social security number, does give identification, right? Does give identification of where we come from. Like if you 00, 02, 0100, like this, right? I know you came from New York. And the birth certificates, if you got, what is it, 142 or something like this, in the beginning, I know you're from New York, or certain birth certificate numbers states you're from New York. I challenge anybody, I tell anybody, I don't want to know your whole birth certificate, right? Your whole birth certificate. And by the way, birth certificates started in the year 1933. Thank you, Frederick Lee Roosevelt, for selling us to the Vatican. So we're all owned by the Vatican. Okay? Our own birth certificates. In 1933, Frederick Roosevelt, a Mason, sold us to the Vatican. Our birth certificates on the Vatican. So that, what do that mean? That means when they want to do certain rituals and things like that, they might could just pull you up and say, you know what? That's a perfect candidate. That's a perfect candidate. You know, and another thing about when we see this word, when we see this letter, okay, what do it look like to you? You turn it this way, it'd be McDonald's, wouldn't it? Also, if you do like this, that'd be Mickey Mouse, wouldn't it? Now, Mickey Mouse and Walt Disney, they have something that is the 33 Club. You know, so I mean, what's so unique about 33? Goes into 6. You look 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See that? 12 zodiacs. Equals 3 again. Always talk about the triad. You know, always talk about the triad people, right? So this is a triad computer. This system is a treaty to these trilateral people, right? That's into Trinity. And we know this is the 12, the zodiac. These are the 12 houses. Now, the thing about 12 and 3, the thing about this, when you look at this, you go 12, right? And we got a day, right? This is day, this is morning, right? Morning, right? This is night, right? That's dark and that's light. Okay. Right? 12 equals 12. Equals 24 hours in a day. Right? Equals 6. That's what's so important. I've got to get 6. Equals 6. So in between these 2 days, the 12, right? Now, each of these is 2, so it goes into there 3 times. It's 2, so it goes into there 3 times. Meaning that if you had a clock, right? And some people, they don't understand the so-called military time, 24 hours. They things like that. So let's say we had a big huge circle, right? And my name is 12, 6, 9, 8. Right? So in between here, it's always 2 hours. Always two. So in between here, always 2. In between there, always 2. So excuse me for the extra 2s. Don't look at that. Extra 2, just take one out. Always 2. Just take this 2 out. Always 2. So it's always 2 at this clock. Always 2. Always 2. Always 2. Always 2. So do y'all see something interesting about this? Can you see that? This is 24 hours. Always 2. Why? Because this is dark and light. Right? 12. How is that? Because it's 1 and the 2. So it's always 2 between here. You got 1, 2, 4, 5. Did y'all notice that? Check it. In between 12, you got 12. In between here, you got 45. Right? In between 45, you got 70, 78. And in between 9 and this, we got 10, 11. Right? Did y'all notice that? You know? In between these, you got, look at this. You got 12, 45, right? 78, and 1011. Right? This is all science, people. This is all science. In the middle here. This is all science. We do compartments. Okay, so what happens here is that then you do squares. What happens is we start to get trapped. This is the math that they're using. They're using time, which in itself is an illusion, but numbers are words and letters and numbers. What does this look like? Once again, we have to realize what is going on. So every time is by 2s. So 2 times 12 equals 24. So y'all know that. So 2 times 12 times 2 equals 24, and that's where you get your 24 cycles. You know. But this is interesting how it does. It could go from 15, 21 to 30. You see, and you see that Y right here is 30. And once again, we're talking about the triad. The 3 again. See that? Once again, we're talking about the triad. The 3 again. So, you know, this is the problem that we have. Is that we're caught in a dimension that have to deal with time and space equals reality. Time and space equals reality. What's in space? Matter. You know? What's in time? You can say integrity. In reality is perceptions. So, in time is integrity, in space is matter, and reality is your perception of what you see. And you notice that something I did almost was like the Jewish eye. Remember that? Meaning eyes, meaning beyond. Go beyond, people. That's what we have to do, go beyond. You know, a lot of us don't understand that we need to step up the game, go beyond this time and space of what is called reality. Go beyond. Go beyond it. Because they right there, we gotta sense this. We gotta sense something here. What I like to call spatial perception, quantum, and prism mechanics. This is what we are caught up in. Quantum and prism mechanics. Spatial perception. That's what we are caught up in. So, once again, go to leave a comment. God is King movement, and leave a comment. Peace.